I'm Toni Minard, and this is Beginner Yoga. Namaste. Thank you for joining me. Before we get started, I would strongly encourage you to get a yoga block. If you can get 2, even better. You can get them on Amazon for a really good price, and they are going to be your best friend as you're starting out in yoga. I still use them, and I've been practicing yoga for almost 8 years. For now, if you don't have one, you can use a thick book and just have it set up somewhere near your mat. A dictionary or a concordance is usually about the right height and width. Go ahead and either set that aside, or you can sit on the block as we start. What this does is it elevates the hips. It elevates them so much so that I can kind of open my knees up. If you find that when you're sitting, you're hunching, it just means that your hips are tight and they're going to open up. But for now, you might want to elevate the hips. Come to a nice, comfortable seated position with a tall back. Palms open towards the sky. Your back is straight but not stiff. Your chin is straight. Eyes closed. Just take a nice cleansing breath. And just take a moment here to connect to the breath. Just notice your breath, maybe for the first time today. The way it flows in and out of the nostrils. In and out of the nasal passages. In and out of the back of the throat. Don't force it, just observe it. In and out in the chest and the lungs. Chest opening, the lungs opening as you inhale, like an umbrella opening. And then closing like an umbrella as you exhale. And just observe this breath for a few more rounds. On your next inhale, open your eyes. Set that block or book near the top of your mat. And let's get started. Before we flow, I want you to remind yourself just to have fun with this and to approach your yoga practice without any judgment, no competition, and above all else, no pain. No pain, no pain in yoga. So let's come down to tabletop position. Knees are under our hips. Wrists are under our shoulders, and even here, if this hurts your knees, fold your mat up. Spread your fingers as wide as you can. And let's start to take cat-cow and pelvic tilt. So on the inhale, you're arching the lower back, and on the exhale, you're rounding. Let's try to connect this movement to our breath. So everyone's going to be a little different, so go ahead and just flow through this with your breath. That's called vinyasa in yoga, movement matched to breath. And just starting to warm up the lower back. One more round. And then find a neutral spine. That means we're not arching, we're not rounding, we're right in the middle. And we're going to take bird dog. We're going to balance the right arm forward, left leg back. Now you can just stay here with this foot down. I'd rather you be here and not all scrunched up and congested. I'd rather you be long and open. If you can lift that foot up, you don't have to yet. You can even gently tap and lift as you're training those muscles and waking up those muscles. I want you to reach through that right hand. Press through that back heel. Press and reach. Press and reach. Navel is cinching in. Your waist is cinching in. Your neck is relaxed. One more breath. And release that hand down. Bring that knee back, shake out the left wrist, and wag the tail. Hips in one direction, head looking in the other. And then come back to that neutral spine in the center. Drawing your navel back towards the spine, reach the left arm forward, right leg back for bird dog. Reach through that left arm, press through that right heel. And release, shake out that right wrist, and wag the tail. And then we're gonna come down towards child's pose, but we're gonna be threading the needle. So bring your knees about as wide as the mat, toes touching, and then just start to sit your butt back towards the heels, elongating the spine. We're gonna take the right arm, we're gonna thread it underneath the left, and then we're gonna just kind of bring the side of the head down to the mat. Threading the needle, stretching out the shoulders. Breathe into any areas of tension. Imagine you're creating space in that area, and then exhale, releasing that tension. Just picture the breath going into that tight area. And really focus on the breath. Again, no judgment. You're feeling it where you're feeling it, but we're not judging. We're just observing. And then come back into the center, and on your next exhale, we're gonna thread the left arm underneath the right elbow. Breathing into that space. Feeling it more on the shoulder on this side, and my other side, I felt it more in the side ribs. And again, no judgment, just observing. Breathing into that space. And then coming back into the center, we're gonna lift up into downward dog. So bring the knees under the hips. Your hands come forward slightly, spread the fingers so we have a wide base, tuck the toes, lift up to downward dog. Now in the beginning of downward dog, it's nice to add a little movement, and we call it walking our dog. And I find that when you're new to yoga, kind of adding movement the entire class really helps until those muscles start to form. This takes a lot of abnormal upper body strength. And what I mean by abnormal is we don't walk on our hands, we don't balance on our hands, we don't stand on our hands. And so we're training all those muscles. So in order to kind of train, I like to add movement when I'm first starting. So just add a little movement anytime you need it. You can also kind of come forward into like a plank and then back into that downward dog. You can kind of bring your hips side to side, whatever feels good here. And then we're going to start to walk the feet and the hands towards each other. So we'll be about in the center of the mat with bent knees. Bring your chest, your torso to your thighs and hang here. This is called ragdoll. Just let it hang. Let it hang. And then before we roll up, I really want you to make sure you're pressing through the heels. And then start to roll up, cinching in that waist. The last thing to come up is your head. Shake it out, step to the top of your mat, and get a few shoulder rolls. First, we're going to roll them forward. And then we're going to roll them back. And then shake it out. Find your mountain pose. So we want to press through the feet and spread the toes. And then we want to bring the ankles, knees, hips, shoulders, and ears all in line with each other. So most of us are going to need to draw that tailbone down slightly. Navel draws back. Shoulders are going to come back and down. We're even going to draw those ears back. We're going to root down through the ball mounds of the big toe and little toe and heel and up through the crown. I'm spreading my toes and webbing them out. Mountain pose. Let's flow with our sun salutes. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward, and this is where that block or book comes in handy. I want you only to fold as much as you can with a straight back. So imagine a skewer from the crown of the head down the spine coming out the tailbone, and we don't want to break that skewer. And so you can either bring the floor to you with a block, or you can bend the knees so that you can keep a straight back as you fold down. Either way, I want you to find your position that is perfect for you, and you might find that it loosens up as we flow. And then we're gonna do a half lift. So we're gonna slide the hands up the shin, and I gently press into them as I lengthen the spine. And then exhale, fold. And now I can try that with the block or the book. I'm gonna inhale, coming up onto spider fingers, lengthen. And then I'm gonna exhale, fold. And then I'm gonna plant my hands. Get your block ready over here on the right side. Feet are gonna be on railroad tracks. Slide the right leg back so you're in a runner's lunge. And then come down onto that knee. Again, you can cushion that mat by doubling it up. Get your block or your book handy for your right hand. And then you're just gonna press into that book. If you have two blocks, that's handy as well for the left hand. Otherwise, you can rest your left elbow on the left thigh. Bring your heart forward, heart forward. Now watch this left knee. We don't want to pronate. We want to make sure the knee is right over the heel. It's not going past it. And just feel this opening on the right side of your hip flexors. Just opening things up. And then I'm going to bring that left knee to the right knee. I'm going to switch sides of that block because I'll do that in a second. And we're going to do a chaturanga training here. So bring your hands as wide as you can. And I'm not in tabletop. So my hands are in front of my shoulders. They're not right under them, okay? And now I want to bring my heart forward, but without sinking down the hips. So you may only come about this far. You might be able to come to a full diagonal line here. But I want you to press into the hands. You're almost rounding the upper back. Scoop the navel back. This is plank, and this is the beginning of our chaturanga. Now, I want us to take one yogi push-up just to train it. So I want you to bend the elbows any amount, maybe just an inch today, but don't let the elbows come out to the side. Squeeze the elbows in, do a little bend, and then push back up. Actually, let's see if we can do two more. One more. Good. Now bring your butt back towards a child's pose. Take a breath. And then we're just going to kind of slide it through. I'm kind of walking on my elbows and then coming down onto my belly. Come all the way to the mat. Bring your hands under your shoulders. Squeeze the shoulder blades in. Press that pubic bone into the mat and really, really flex the legs. Make them nice and strong. And then out of that, you start to bring your heart forward into baby cobra. Squeeze the shoulder blades. This should not hurt the lower back, so only come up as much as you can. Press into that pubic bone. Maybe you can hover the hands. We're strengthening the back muscles. So we can do a strong chaturanga, and then exhale coming down. And now we need to get back up. So you might need to bring those elbows back down. That's okay. Coming towards child's pose, and then lift up into downward dog. Move or find stillness here. Take a breath. Release your neck. Lift the heels. Scoop the belly out. We're going to bring the right foot between the hands. Coming into runner's lunge and then down on that knee, the very front of the knee, not directly on it. And we're going to get our block with that left hand, and heart comes forward. Right elbow on the right thigh. Draw the heart forward for a low lunge. Feel that left hip flexor saying hello. Up, I'm pronating a little bit, so I'm going to walk my foot forward so my knee is right over the ankle. Just checking in with my body. This is what keeps us mindful and creates a meditation in motion. So we're actually getting exercise as much as we are exercise. Building resiliency in the nervous system so we can better handle stress. There's science behind that. All right, so now set that block aside, or you might want to put it in the front of your mat. We're going to step to the top of the mat. So I like to tuck my back toes, lift the knee. Maybe you take a few steps coming up. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. And then either roll up or swan dive up. Either way, I want you to press into the heels. And then come up, hands together, and to heart center. You did a sun salutation. Let's continue with a sun salutation B. Inhale, heart lifts. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. And you can change the length on your block. We're going to come into a chair squat. So make sure that your feet are on railroad tracks. Start to bend the knees, but stick that butt way back if you're sitting in a chair. If you have the block, squeeze it between the upper inner thighs. That's gonna really start to wake up those inner muscles that you need. Otherwise, you're gonna feel it in your lower back. Do not lean forward. You're sitting back in a chair. And then let's just kind of flow with this if it doesn't hurt your back. Flow, kind of sweeping the hands. Listen to the lower back. Squeeze that block between your thighs if you have it. And then this one we're going to see if we can hold. So sit way back. You're so much on your heels, you almost feel like you're going to sink back. You can bring your hands into namaste. Take another breath. Release the block, fold forward. Inhale, half lift. Feet are on railroad tracks. Slide the right leg back any amount. This time the back heel is going to stay lifted. I'm doing a high lunge and I'm going to come up. Now you might feel stuck here. Draw the sacrum and the tailbone down. Cinch the waist in. Bend that back knee as much as you need to. Add a little buoyancy, a little bounce here if you need to. Movement can help as you build and strengthen those muscles. And then we're just going to see if we can lift the right arm today. High lunge. Good. Now we're going to take a balance called Warrior 3, which is advanced, but I'm going to walk you through a little way that makes it a little more beginner. So we're going to flow 3 times. The 3rd time we're going to try to hold it. So keep both knees bent for this. And just balance, and then try to come back to that high lunge. Do that again. Balance, come back. One more time, balance. Maybe both knees are bent. My back foot's pointing down, toes are pointing down. Maybe airplane arms. Maybe you can straighten, cinch that waist in, and then come back into high lunge. Fold forward, come on to your knees. Let's do 3 of those yogi push-ups, strengthening the arms, any amount. Make sure you can straighten all the way back up. Squeeze the elbows in. And then we're going to chaturanga down. So come towards child's pose, maybe down to the elbows. Slide it through. Take a breath. Hands under your shoulders. Squeeze the elbows in. Press the pubic bone. Bring the heart forward. Baby cobra. My neck is long and relaxed. You can add a little movement here. Just kind of scooting forward, shimmying. Exhale, come down. Tuck the back toes. If you need to come on your elbows, do that. You don't want to hurt your back. Coming towards child's pose and then lift up into your downward dog. Again, make any movement here that you need. Any movement. All right, we're going to bring the right foot forward. So lift the heels, scoop your belly in. Bring that right foot between the hands. So our feet are on railroad tracks. There's space between them. Back heels lifted. I'm going to come up into that high lunge. We're going to do that same flow on the other side. So bend that back knee to draw the sacrum down. Maybe your left arm lifts. Look at a spot in front of you that's not moving. That's super helpful when you're balancing in a pose. And then just find the breath. Feel the breath. All right, we're going to do that Warrior 3. Some people like namaste hands, some people like airplane. 1, 2. See if we can balance on this 3rd one. Back toes pointing down. Keep the knees bent if you need to. Come back into that high lunge. Bring your hands to the mat. Step to the top of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Come into that chair squat. Kind of shimmy. Add a little buoyancy here. Relax the shoulders, sit back. Come up into volcano and shake it out. All right. Let's now face the long end of our mat. Bring our feet about 3 to 4 feet apart. Turn your left toes towards the front of your mat. Back toes come in slightly. My feet are now on a balance beam. Warrior 2. I'm gonna bend this left knee, but only enough that it doesn't go past the heel. And then squeeze that kneecap towards the baby toe. Press through the back foot. Bring your torso forward. Arms come out. I'm gonna flip my palms up at first, just to train my shoulders to stay down. Reach through the fingertips. Now imagine that waist is cinching in, tailbone's drawing down. Warrior two. Now let's take side angle warrior. We're gonna bring the left elbow to the left thigh. If you're starting to hunch forward, just stay here. Or you can zipper the hand over the ear, as long as your heart is open. Let's come up, and we're gonna take it to the right side. Back foot pivots in, front foot faces the back of the mat. Bend that knee. Squeeze the kneecap towards the baby toe. Turn your torso forward. Arms out, reach through the fingers. Tailbone down, navel in. Warrior two. Side angle warrior. Right elbow to right thigh. Coming up, hands to center, heel toe it in, shake it out. All right, let's do triangle series. So bring your feet about same distance, 3 to 4 feet apart. We're gonna turn our left toes to face the front of the mat. Back foot comes in on a balance beam. This time the front knee stays straight, but if you tend to lock it, do a little micro bend. Turn your torso towards the side of the mat, open it up, arms come out to the side, lean towards the top of the mat, lean forward, and then just take this left hand and kind of place it on the inside of the thigh or knee, and the top hand comes up towards the ceiling. This is triangle. And I want you to think about opening your heart towards this front side of your mat, towards the screen. Now some people like to take their hand and grab their shin or their ankle, but I would rather you try to use your core to hold yourself up here, or just gently grab it. Don't lean into that hand. And then come up. Turn your feet so they're both nice and straight, parallel. Bring your hands to your hips. First, we're gonna bring those hips forward, bring the shoulders together and the heart forward for a nice back bend. And then we're gonna do the opposite. Hands to your hips, start to pivot those hip bones forward with a straight back fold. So your block can come in handy here if you can't reach the floor. Relax your neck. Let the backs of your legs open up. Draw your navel in, cinch it in. If you're too wide, your knees might hurt. You might want to walk them in. Release your neck. Scoop your navel back towards the spine and breathe. All right, we're gonna come up. First, I like to come up about halfway, maybe on spider fingers or fists. And then kind of bend the knees if you need to. We're gonna bring the hands to the hips. We're gonna push down on that buttocks flesh, come up with a straight back. And now I'm gonna show you triangle with the aid of a block. Turn the right toes to the back of the mat. Back foot pivots in slightly. We're gonna first grab that block with the right hand. We're gonna lean towards the back of the mat. Lean forward. Then set that block on the inside of your foot, and you can use that to place your hand on or your fist for triangle. Again, I don't want you to lock that knee. It's better to micro bend. Heart is open, triangle. So these blocks are really handy. You can get 2 blocks and a strap, I think, for like $10 on Amazon. All right, we're gonna come up. Before we just clunker up, because most yoga injuries, 90% actually happen coming out of a pose. See if we need to bend our knee. We wanna draw that navel in and then use this top hand to kind of pull you up We're gonna take a yogi squat. So this block can come in handy. Walk the feet in a little. So we're a little wider than hip distance, toes are out. And if you wanna sit on the block, go ahead and just sit on that block. We're opening the hips here, that's all we're doing. You can bring your hands into namaste, you can rest them palms open. A pose using acupressure points is to press your pointer and thumb together. Those are acupressure points that kind of help you to focus. Maybe close your eyes here in yogi squat, take a few breaths. All right, we're gonna sit down here. So let's walk our feet in. Go ahead and lift that block and set it to the lowest level to sit on. And then we're gonna bring our legs nice and straight. Now the reason I'm sitting on a block is because if you're new to yoga, you probably have tight hips. Even if you're athletic, that's very common. So elevating the hips will allow you to have a straight back, which is very important. This is called staff pose. So most of you, your feet are probably touching. With the way that my knees are, my feet don't touch. I'm gonna bring, all of my toes are facing the ceiling and my knees are straight up towards the ceiling. This is staff. You can kind of press into the fingertips, nice tall spine. And then we're gonna start to lean forward with a straight back, so any amount. You will feel the backs of your legs telling you when you've gone far enough. It should be comfortably uncomfortable. Scoop your navel back towards the spine, let your neck relax. It shouldn't hurt your lower back at all, but you're comfortably uncomfortable. Flex both feet, toes towards your shin. Your thighs are internally rotating, like you're squeezing something between them. Navel's drawing back towards the spine. I might even help you go further. Walk the hands back in. We're gonna do cobbler's pose. So again, this block is handy. Bring the soles of your feet together and just kind of open your hips. If you feel like this is hurting your knees, like the pressure, you can place pillows under them. And let's just rest our hands, palms open towards the sky, gently on the insides of the knees. Nice tall spine. You can stay here, opening up the hips, or see if you can start to lean it forward. Relax your neck. Draw your navel back towards the spine. Come back in, bring those knees back in. Let's go ahead and remove that block, but we're still gonna use it. We're gonna do boat pose, which is a core. So squeeze that block between your thighs. Feet are kind of in front, but my feet are flat. Okay, I'm squeezing the block. If you don't have a block, you can use a rolled up kitchen towel. Bring your hands behind you. My fingers are facing the sides or towards my buttocks. And then I want you to lift the heart forward. So this might be all the core you can handle right here. Some of you will be able to bring your hands behind your thighs and kind of lean back, squeeze the block. You might be able to lift the feet. And then the next level is here. Try to look at a spot. Try to take 3 slow breaths. Inhale. Exhale. It shouldn't hurt the lower back. Come out a little or take the next modification. Inhale. Exhale. Let that exhale out completely. One more. Good, let's come forward. Release that block. Bring your hands back out to the sides or fingers towards the buttocks and windshield wiper. With your breath, slow and intentionally. All right, we're gonna come onto our back now. And this block can still come in handy, or that towel. Squeeze it between your thighs. Walk your feet in so they're in line with the sits bones, and the heels are going to come in as close as you can to the sits bones. Come onto your back. Make sure that we don't move our neck at all for the rest of this pose. So you might want to watch it first and then do it. We're going to do bridge. So bring your hands into robot hands, fingers towards the sky. Squeeze the block, press into the heels, and then we're just going to lift those hips towards the sky, open the pelvis towards the sky. Squeeze the block, press into the heels, breathe. Maybe your hands come down to the floor. Just look at the ceiling and breathe. We're going to slowly lower down very carefully, very carefully, very carefully. Release the block, set it aside. Walk your feet forward a little. Bring your hands and arms into goalpost. And then exhale, let both knees fall over to the right, but try to keep the left shoulder blade down. You could just stay here with your neck, or you can rock your neck. Landing your neck wherever it feels good. And then we're going to take them over to the other side. First, realign your hips, and then let your knees fall over to the left. Right shoulder blade stays down. If this hurts your knees, you can use that block to kind of prop underneath your knee. Breathe, let that breath come back to normal. And then we're going to come back into the center. I want you to take a moment here to make sure you can feel your shoulder blades broad and feel that sacrum onto the mat, that flat part, upper buttocks, lower back. And then start to bring your knees in kind of towards your armpits. We're going to take happy baby. So the knees are wide and they're coming down towards the armpits. And then as they're coming down, your feet are coming towards the ceiling, like you're going to walk on it. Now you can just stay here for happy baby. You can grab your calves, your ankles, or the outsides of your feet. Just breathe here. Some people like to rock. You see if that feels good to you or not. Now that tailbone is reaching towards the floor. The tailbone's not lifting up. So if you need to come out a little to keep that tailbone down, it's better to be here than here. And now we're just going to take dead bugs. So just kind of let your hands reach towards the sky, feet towards the sky. Just let this is very good to release any kind of stress, bringing you into the parasympathetic system, rest and digest. Keep the feet up, release the arms. And then we're going to bend the knees and bring both feet to the floor. If you have any back issues, just bring your feet wide, let your knees fall in. Or you can use a pillow or blanket or towel to support your lower back or your neck. Arms come open, palms towards the sky. Let's just release everything, starting with the face. Scrunch the face up really tight, and then let it go. Scrunch the hands, flex your biceps, and let it go. Suck in your butt, suck in your belly, bring your shoulders forward, let them go. Bring your left knee in, flex your left foot, let it go. Bring your right knee in, flex the right foot, let it go. Now just let everything release. Take a nice cleansing breath in through the nose. Let it out through the mouth with a noise. And just release and soften. And you can stay here as long as you like. You stop the video. Or just for about 2 minutes with me. In our final resting pose, Shavasana. Anywhere where you're feeling held tension, try to soften it and release it. Release the jaw. There's no expression on the face. You're not holding on to anything. Just feeling the breath flowing in and out of the body. Starting to wake up the body by wiggling your fingers and your toes, or your wrists and your ankles, maybe flowing the knees side to side. And then starting to bring the knees in towards the chest. We're going to roll onto our side in fetal position with the head resting on the inside of the arm. And then use the strength of your hands and your arm to come up to a seated position. Palms towards the sky. You can again come back into that mudra, that acupressure point of pointer and thumb. Eyes are closed. Just take a moment here, pause. Notice if your body feels any different. Notice the condition of your breath. And your state of mind. And then we inhale our arms overhead, bringing the palms together down the center line of the body, resting our thumbs at our breastbone, and we bow, honoring each other. Namaste. Thank you and have a great day.